Trap number 2, believing that certainty must come before action. This trap is responsible for far more anxiety, procrastination, and indecision than most people realize, because it feels completely reasonable. After all, why would you act before you're certain? Why would you start a business before knowing it'll succeed? Why would you change careers before knowing it's the right choice? Why would you commit to a relationship, move to a new city, or pursue a dream if you can't guarantee the outcome? And so many intelligent people unconsciously develop this belief that they must first eliminate uncertainty. They need one more book, one more course, one more opinion, one more spreadsheet, one more year of preparation. Because surely if they just gather enough information, eventually everything will become clear. Eventually they'll know exactly what to do. But that's not how reality works, because life doesn't offer certainty, it offers probabilities. And wisdom begins when you stop demanding guarantees from a world that cannot provide them. In fact, one of the great ironies is that intelligent people are often more vulnerable to this trap. Because intelligence gives you the ability to see many possible outcomes. You can imagine what might go wrong. You can identify flaws. You can think through endless scenarios, which sounds like an advantage, until you realize that seeing more possibilities doesn't necessarily make decisions easier. Sometimes it makes them impossible, because every option now comes with countless risks and uncertainties, and eventually you find yourself trapped, not by a lack of options, but by an abundance of them. And this is where many people unknowingly confuse clarity with certainty. They think, once I'm completely sure, then I'll act. But wise people understand something different. Clarity rarely comes before action. More often, action creates clarity. Think about learning to swim. You can read books about swimming, watch videos, study the physics, understand buoyancy, learn about strokes and breathing techniques, but no amount of thinking will ever replace getting into the water, because some forms of understanding cannot be achieved intellectually, they can only be experienced, and life works the same way. You don't discover the perfect career before starting. You discover it by trying things. You don't find the perfect relationship through endless analysis. You build it through experience. You don't become confident before taking action. Confidence is often the result of action, not the prerequisite for it. And this is something wise people seem to understand intuitively. They don't wait for certainty. They move with uncertainty, not recklessly, not impulsively, but with the understanding that no decision comes with guarantees. In fact, wisdom isn't about always being right. It's about becoming comfortable with being wrong. Because when you stop treating mistakes as disasters, uncertainty becomes far less frightening. You no longer need perfect information. You only need enough information to take the next step. And perhaps this is one of the biggest differences between intelligence and wisdom. Intelligence seeks certainty. Wisdom seeks progress. Intelligence asks, how can I avoid making mistakes? Wisdom asks, how can I learn from them? Because waiting for certainty often means waiting forever. And the tragedy is that life continues moving while you're standing still. Opportunities disappear, relationships change, years pass, not because you made the wrong decision, but because you never made one at all. And strangely enough, some of the greatest regrets people have later in life don't come from failure. They come from hesitation, from the paths they never explored, from the conversations they never had, from the dreams they postponed until the timing felt perfect, a timing that never arrived. Because certainty is not a destination, it's an illusion. And wisdom begins when you stop asking, how can I be absolutely sure, and start asking, given what I know right now, what is the next best step? And that brings us to the third trap. The trap